What does it feel like to have won a Little East Conference championship after the time you've been with the program and steadily building to this point?
Yeah, absolutely. I think the feeling that I would say has been most prevalent for me over the last few days has been one of gratitude. I think about, all the people who've helped us over the last, 10 plus years that, in one way or another contributed to the success. I think about my family. I think about my wife. I think about my parents. I think about our alums. I think about the staff here. And that's really been the most, kind of prevalent feeling for me, has just been one of gratitude over the last few days here.
What was it like having some fans in the stands on Thursday and then a raucous crowd on Saturday? I mean, the screams from both sides after every goal were almost ear shattering.
Yeah, and I'm so glad that our players had that experience. Obviously, kind of my gratitude for them is incredible. I'm so grateful that they chose to be a part of this, and I think I'm so happy for them that they got this experience in front of fans. I know so many parents have made so many sacrifices to allow their kids to be a part of this program or their loved ones to be a part of this program. So for them to be able to see it in person was a really big deal.
I want to start talking about the games down. First, we'll hit on the game on Thursday against Plymouth State. A little bit of a slower start, tied after one. And what do you think was the difference in that contest that kind of allowed you to pull away in the second half?
Yeah, I think, Plymouth seems like a while ago now for sure, with kind of what the last few days have held. But I do think, we talk a lot over the last few weeks about keeping things simple, and really playing fast, playing smart, and playing tough. And I think those are things that our guys have really taken to heart. I think certain guys as individuals have stepped up as leaders in a lot of different situations. I think, in both games, we've had different guys step up and make plays at big times for us. And I think the most important message that we try to get across in both Plymouth and then again in WestCon was, we didn't need to do anything outside of ourselves in order to be successful in these games. It was just about kind of doubling down on the things that make us who we are. And I think that's what really broke open the Plymouth game for us.
Saturday, another close one. First time that you've trailed, I believe, at half all season, not just here at home. What was your message to the team at halftime when they scored that late goal to push the lead out to 3 right before halftime?
Yeah, I think it was a similar message that we gave our guys at halftime of Eastern Connecticut, which was, we haven't played Beacons lacrosse yet. We haven't played the way we want to play. We haven't executed the way we want to execute, and we're going to be fine. We know. We trust in our training. We trust in who our guys are as athletes and really as leaders. And I think, I felt really good at halftime about where we were. I think we made a lot of mistakes in the first half, but it was all correctable things. And our guys made a decision to go out and make those corrections.
Gavin Admiran, the tournament MOP, didn't dominate in the first half, but he certainly dominated in the second half. How big were his contributions amongst a lot offensively for you guys to kind of turn the tide and win that game?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, like I said, I think we've talked in earlier interviews. He's a guy that obviously his goal scoring and his point scoring is off the charts, but I think he brings a lot to the table outside of those things that really spark our team, whether it be how he rides or his contributions on ground balls, or just kind of the tough, hard-nosed plays that we've come to expect from him. And so I think that's really where he excelled in the second half is, he made a decision that, he was going to do everything he possibly can to make sure we get another week together. And he did that.
Jackson Whitlock is a guy who stepped up in the absence of Connor Lenfest and really made a huge impact. He's one we haven't talked about because you just have so many weapons offensively. How big were his contributions to winning that first ever LEC title?
Yeah, I mean, I can't say enough about Jackson. The maturity that he carries himself with, the maturity that he brings on the field, I think are things that, were on display on Saturday in a big way. He's a leader and he's a winner. And I think those are both things that really shined through for him on Saturday with how he played and how he competed. Again, he scored really big goals and really big moments, but more so than that, same with Gavin. It was ground balls in big moments. It was rides in big moments. There was a lot of things that he did that don't necessarily show up on a stat sheet that I think made a colossal impact in our ability to win that game.
Christian Meinhold started the season not as your starter, not even playing in the opener, comes in and he was really dominant in that championship game, keeping you guys in it when WestCon maybe had the upper hand in the first half. What can you say about your freshman's performance, but also your entire defense's performance, really locking WestCon down, a good offensive team in the second half?
Sure. I mean, right off the bat, we have 4 great goalies, and I think we've touched on it too before. The way those guys push each other, the way they support each other, the way they compete is huge. I'd be comfortable with any one of those guys in the cage. Chris has just kind of set himself apart over the last few weeks with obviously his ball stopping ability, but his ability where, he's really dialed and no moment's too big for him. And I think that was on display in a big way on Saturday.
Another guy that we have to talk about because he's just always so important to this team is Jack Dabrinski. Sets the single season faceoff record on Thursday, the program career record on Saturday, wins almost 80% of his faceoffs. And just it's kind of an expectation at this point, which is insane. What does he mean, and how far has he come over the last 3 years with this program? Yeah,
I mean, again, he's a guy that I get a little bit emotional talking about in terms of kind of how far he's come over the last few years, as is the case with a lot of these guys. There's not too many guys that you have the opportunity to coach over the course of your career that you can always point to and say, hey, listen, you need to give what he gives. You need to compete the way that he competes. And Jack's one of those guys for us. I think about numerous times over the course of the season when he just, could have rolled over, could have come out of the game, just with the abuse he takes at his position and the abuse he takes when people are trying to get the upper hand in his position, and all the different things teams have tried in order to kind of prevent the success that he's had. He's a guy that it's really hard for a teammate to look at him and not want to give 100% because that's what he's giving, every second he's on the field.
I want to talk about one play in particular. You're up by a goal, you get the ball back out of a timeout, and you give it to Luke Murphy, and it's just up to him. And he runs down the sideline and takes on 4 or 5 guys and recognizes, I can't turn it over here, and just throws it across, and Dara's there to pick it up. What does that play mean when you're talking about a championship mentality and a championship maybe winning play for you guys?
Right. And I think, one of the things we tell our guys all the time is, we're not going to be able to do anything in these games that we haven't done before. We don't believe there's anything, any such thing as rising to the occasion. We talk a lot about our guys falling back on their training and falling back on the way they prepare themselves. And, though it was a big play, it's not a surprising one. Luke does that every single day in practice. That's the level that he competes. That's the level of toughness he brings every day. That play was obviously a huge one in our ability to close out that game. I think about a guy like Pat Colburn, winning an end line ball and making an incredibly smart lacrosse play, an incredibly, gutty play at the end of the game. It's a lot of guys kind of falling back on the type of work that we put in every single day. And it paid off for us.
Well, Coach, I really appreciate your time. We'll talk preview later on this week, but again, congrats on that first ever Little East Conference title for the program.
Sure, Seth. And I guess one thing I just want to make sure I add, obviously I can't say enough about our players and our alums, but I think, the support staff and the university as a whole, all the things that have, been done to make this season happen. We talk a lot, with our guys that you don't know when your best opportunity is to win a championship. You don't know when your best opportunity, it could be when you're a freshman, it could be when you're a senior. And we know for a lot of guys, this was really their best and maybe only opportunity to do that. And it wouldn't have been possible without, guys like you, guys like the support staff and the people that made this a reality. So I just wanted to make sure I said thank you. And the other group really is the other coaches here at UMass. I've learned from some pretty unbelievable people in terms who've done it before, who've been here before, and have faced some of the same challenges. So I just wanted to make sure I, express my gratitude to those people.
Well, certainly appreciate it, Coach. We didn't know that if there would be a season up until about 2.5 months ago, and it's crazy that now we're talking about a championship team and an NCAA tournament down the line. Thanks, Coach.